Hello again, my name's Dee Campbell, and I'm here for another video. I am a coding educator who just loves teaching the nuances of all the really weird things going on in medical coding and billing. April 1st was a huge update. ACOG ended up sneaking a huge obstetric update that's really shooken things up, where all of us are going to have to change how we're reporting pregnancy here, pretty much effective today. So let's go through what happened and why these changes are happening so rapidly. What happened is the ACOG has, I guess, been talking to AMA for quite some time now that they wanted to get rid of global billing when it comes to pregnancy services. They've indicated that they wanted to get rid of this for quite some time, I guess. Us in coding, though, we kind of just found out about it April 1st in the new update, and things are moving drastically fast. That's why they're giving us this information as quickly as they are, and also why I want to help out with giving out this information on what's happening for these changes. Basically, 17 codes are being deleted, 12 codes will be added, and 6 codes are being revised. What happened is way more codes are being deleted than being revised or added, just because we're going to switch to, in the antepartum period, all E&M codes are going to be reported instead. That's what we're going to use now. Instead, we're going to not use global periods. Instead, we're going to charge E&M services each and every single time for it. The reason for this is they believe it'll show better reporting of the nuances of pregnancy care, where some patients might have only a few visits, while some patients might have a significant number of visits. So that's why we're moving towards this process. Why is it moving so fast for us coders, though? Is let's look at CPT from the same standpoint as ICD-10. As coders, it's always worked that pregnancy is based off of what's going to happen when the patient gives birth. So for example, if a patient is, let's say, 15 years old and 6 months while pregnant, they're technically not a young pregnancy. I know that's weird to say, but technically it's not considered a young pregnancy because they're going to be older than 16 at the time that they do conceive if they reach full term. Pregnancy codes are purely based off of what they will be at full term. So because of that, CPT is being treated the same way. So something so drastic as this change is kind of happening more or less instantaneous, because pregnancy is obviously a 9-month thing. So there are going to be people who are pregnant today who are going to deliver next year when these codes no longer exist. So for that reason, all patients who are going to deliver next year, you must switch to this E&M system more or less immediately. If you're watching this video now, it would be immediate. Oh, sorry, grabbed the wrong window. So let's look at some of these other portions here. Labor management, it's going to be daily reported once per calendar day. Codes created for initial and subsequent days will exist now. Delivery is a new streamlined codes for vaginal delivery with or without vaginal birth after cesarean, and basically it's just going to get a lot easier. There's new distinct codes added for 3rd degree laceration repairs, 4th degree repairs, so it's going to get more nuance. For postpartum care, all current postpartum care codes will be deleted and will be reported with only an E&M code in 2027. That's just how it's going to work now on. That's what we're going to be using. So just get ready for the E&M codes. Here's a breakdown of a table of the codes that are happening and for the changes. As you can see, more things are being deleted than not. So the postpartum codes will be deleted. The 59205 is going to be deleted. These routine obstetric codes will be deleted because it includes the global codes. All these are going to be deleted and made into new codes here. So for vaginal deliveries, for example, these codes are being deleted, 50409, and these 2 new codes will be created. So just be aware of these once when you're reporting your pregnancy services in 2027. A lot of codes have gotten deleted and replaced. Basically, I guess not even basically, it is this way. If it's any global version of the code, think of it as it's gone now. So we will have to report E&M services from that point on. So let's look at some of these guidelines for pregnancy reporting to make certain that you're reporting things right. Since now we're going to be reporting way more E&M pregnancy visits, we got to make certain we're reporting it to the highest level each visit to make certain you're not going to get denied. The final character for trimester. Basically, how this one works is Chapter 15, almost every single code, truly almost every single one in Chapter 15, or the O codes is what that means, will have a final character code for the trimester. It's really easy. It's just final character 1 for first, 2, vice versa. It's really simple. So basically, we must assign a final character for the trimester. It should be based on the provider's documentation for that trimester. So basically, as a provider, just make certain you always document the gestational age at every single visit, so then the highest level trimester code can be reported. It's pretty easy. Everyone's already putting gestational age anyways, and then coders will update it. So just know it's more important now because we have 15.5 guideline here for unspecified trimester. Each category that includes codes for trimester has an unspecified trimester version. However, the unspecified trimester code should be rarely used. Basically, you have that carve-out, which means insurance can deny us every single time, just like any other unspecified code works. So just be important and remember to always put in gestational age on your obstetric visit, so we're always coding to the highest level of trimester. Unspecified will lead to denials. And then finally, another important one is 7th characters when it comes to fetus identification. It seems counterintuitive when it comes to this, but fetus, assigning the 7th character 0 if it's a single gestation. So what that means is if there's only one fetus, it's easy to get in the habit of putting a 1 at the end because you're thinking it's affecting fetus 1. The number at the end indicates the fetus out of how many fetuses there are. So if you put fetus number 1 as the identifier, you're kind of indicating this patient has 2 fetuses at least, and the second one is fine. So just remember, it's weird, it's asinine that you use a 0 for single gestations. Maternity care services. This is the CPT guidelines that they've already shared and released. They've already released the obstetric section of it. Just basically, it states what we've already discussed now, where it is all going to be E&M codes instead. We're going to use the E&M codes for the office visit. No, it does state the telemedicine code should be used. However, I highly doubt that's going to be the case, since as we all know, no payers actually recognize any of the new telehealth codes, and we are using place of service code in modifier 95 and 93. I assume that will continue to be the case, but just be aware that it states use the telemedicine codes, but I highly doubt that's actually going to be the case. And finally, here's some changes that MNDHS released recently for what's going to happen. So what codes should providers start using as of June 1st this year? Providers who are unable to bill per encounter by June 1st may use the following billing protocols for patients with a 2027 due date. If care is initiated between May 15th and July 14th, you can use 59246 with TH Modifier. If care is initiated between July 15th through August 31st, then use 59425 with TH Modifier. If care is initiated between September 1st and December 31st, you will bill prenatal care per encounter only with the appropriate E&M code and TH Modifier. So basically, if the care is initiated after September 1st, no matter what, we have to be fully on board for the system. Because that patient is going to deliver next year. So no matter what, you're going to have to be on it. So just be aware of this. What's this TH modifier that they keep referencing? At least in Minnesota, so for Medicaid payers, they are going to say that they want us to use TH modifier on every single prenatal and postpartum care E&M code. Honestly, I'm guessing everyone's going to adopt this because it just quite frankly makes sense. They need a way to still track prenatal and postpartum care, and it needs to be easier than filtering out O codes or Z34 codes. So just making a modifier purely for this circumstance honestly makes a lot of sense, and I'm on board for it. So just make certain you use that TH modifier each and every time for the E&M code. And it does state clearly that you should never use the TH modifier for the facility codes though. And that's it. Just get ready for the new changes. Just be prepared for a lot of codes being deleted. Just note, honestly, I would recommend effective now. You do use E&M codes for every single visit. It really is easier in the long run. If you're uncertain of medical decision making, please watch my medical decision making video. But really, how it works is ACOG has acknowledged that for medical decision making purposes, pregnancy is considered a chronic condition. So you can use the level 3, level 4 categories for that based off of the patient's circumstances. That's it. That's the new obstetric updates for April. It seems like a lot, but really it's not that bad. And honestly, I think this is going to be a beneficial change for everyone. So just remember, use E&M codes from pretty much this point on. Make certain you use the final character to the highest level. If there's only one baby and you're using a fetus identification code, use 0 for the identifier. And always avoid unspecified trimester. Make certain to document gestational age in every visit. That's it. My name's Dee Campbell, and this is Obstetric Updates as of April 1st, 2026. Thank you.